this silly simple idea made me $2,000 in 2 days. Want to know how? Let me show you and I'll tell you the story. Hi, my name is Florin and my goal is to make $1 million while documenting the journey on this YouTube channel. Since I started this challenge, I wanted to have a way for people to see the progress. I wanted to have a place where they can go to see the revenue that I made and the income sources. So I came up with this idea of the $1 million grid, where we have 1,000 tiles and each tile represents $1,000. So whenever I make $1,000 from an income source, one square in this grid lights up. Basically, every time I make some money, I update a JSON file. And then this JSON file updates the grid. And this way, everyone can see the progress in real time. By the way, let me know in the comments if you want to access this grid and I'll put it up on GitHub. So while sharing this idea on Twitter, I noticed that a lot of people like the idea. And not only that, but some people mentioned it resembles with the $1 million homepage idea back in 2005. For those of you who don't know, this guy called Alex created a website which had 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, so 1 million pixels. And he sold one pixel for $1 for companies to promote their products. And the idea went viral. And he sold out in about 130 days or something and made $1 million. Now, when I created my grid, I didn't think of Alex. I knew about it, I remembered hearing about it in the past, but my mind didn't cross this idea. Because after all, this is a grid where I'm sharing my income sources. But then it hit me. What if I could sell a square in my grid for $1,000? Would companies be interested in this? I know it was a long shot, but I could try. It was very simple to set up, and I did it. Underneath the grid, I set a text that if you're a company and you would like to promote your product on my grid, feel free to reach out. Again, this wasn't my main idea. I didn't plan to make money by this. It was just something that crossed my mind and I said, let's try it. When I finished this up and I polished it a little bit, I put it up on Twitter, and to my surprise, someone reached out really fast. This guy really liked the idea and he was asking how much for a square. I said $1,000. And he said, let me talk with the team and I'll come back to you. He discussed with his team and the next team came back and said that it's out of their marketing budget, so they'll have to pass on. But oh well, as I said, this wasn't the main idea of making money for me. I'll continue working on my stuff and forget about it. But then, a few days later, I was chatting with my friend, the creator of Front-End Masters, and I was sending him the ideas that I had and the videos that I made and the posts and all the yapping that I've been doing on social media. And he was like, yo, you gotta stop procrastinating and you gotta start making money. So that was some tough love, but he was right. I was procrastinating. I kept talking about making money, but I wasn't doing much to make money. So then another idea hit me and I was like, hey, okay, I get it. You're right. Let's make some money. What if you promote Front-End Masters on my grid? To be honest, it was a long stretch and I was kind of bluffing. I didn't think he'll get my offer, but he replied, you know what? We're running a sale right now on Front-End Masters, and yeah, let's do it. I'll send you $1,000. I was shocked. I didn't think it would work, and it did. I sold a square in my grid. Wow. And then I went ahead and crafted one of the best tweets I ever wrote. I wanted people to feel my emotions. I was happy, I was excited, and I really liked the product. I've been using it for a long time, and I believe in it. So it was easy to talk about it. I wanted to make sure that it goes well. And to my surprise, it worked. It went really well. It got hundreds of likes and comments and tens of thousands of impressions. By the way, if you're one of those on Twitter that follows me and engages with my content, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It keeps me motivated. Alright, so this happened on Friday. But then an even crazier thing happened the next day. It was the first time in a long time that I lost my words. And as you can see, I'm pretty good at talking. So I got a DM out of nowhere from this guy. I knew him, I knew his work, he was pretty famous in the space and his business is making a ton of money. And to my surprise, he asked, could I buy a square in your grid? And I was like, whoa, really? You want to buy a square in my grid? What? But then, something even more amazing happened. He wanted to buy a square in the grid, but instead of promoting his company, he wanted to promote a non-profit organization. He wanted to promote a charity, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. He said that he had thyroid cancer last year, and this was a way for him to pay back. He said that he thinks that my grid will get a lot of attention and a lot of startups will want to buy a square in the grid, and he wanted to make sure that at least one of the squares is a wholesome square, he called it, and that this wholesome square is promoting a charity. He wanted to remain anonymous, he didn't want to get any attention, his only wish was for people to donate to the charity. I was blown away. I didn't know what to say and I didn't know how to react. This was something I never imagined it will happen. So I did it. I added a square in my grid and I put a link to the organization. And then I went ahead and crafted another tweet and I put my all into it. I really wanted to fulfill his wishes. I wanted people to see the tweet, engage with it, and then donate. To be honest, I don't know how many people donated because I don't have access to the page, but I really hope people did and will continue to do so because the square will stay there in the grid for as long as I'm doing the challenge. And yeah, this is the story of how my simple silly idea made $2,000 in 2 days while also helping promote charity. I think the lesson for those of you watching is to not be afraid to share your silly ideas. Don't be afraid to try something out. I see a lot of time in my timeline silly projects like this and they get traction. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to try because you don't know until you try. But you may say, okay, but I don't have an audience. And that's true. In all fairness, I do have an audience, but there are a couple of things you need to think about. 1. I didn't always have an audience. I built it over time. It took me 5 years to work and to get here. And 2. If your idea is something interesting, something unique, it can work, even if you don't have an audience. You can spark curiosity somewhere and it can go viral. You never know until you try. So go try. Launch that silly idea of yours and let me know when you do and I'll cheer you along. That's it for this video. If you liked it, give it a like. In the next one, I'm going to show you what are my income sources and how I'm planning to make $1 million. See you out there.